Welcome to Stock Wisdom and Tips. Today's video is going to concentrate on the concept of continuous improvement, bringing continuous improvement to stock investing. So it's going to be about goal setting and, as mentioned, looking at your performance, tracking what you did well, the year before, and how you can do better in the future. So this time of year, around US Thanksgiving, it's what we call goal setting time. And, we're not just referring to stock investing, but really anything in life, right? It's time to set your goals for the coming year and, put in the routines in place to track the attainment of these goals. So for instance, do you play golf and want to improve your handicap? Or are you a tennis player and you want to learn to hit a more wicked kick serve? So these are just examples, they don't have to be financial necessarily, but it's important to set goals, jot them down, write them down, but more importantly, track your performance and track your progress throughout the year. And this type of mindset that I just talked about for sports, for example, is the type of mindset we use for stock investing. Um, Another important thing is, where did you generate your ideas this year, right? Those ideas, obviously, that worked. Could it have been a YouTube video? Was it maybe a Barron's article that you read? A Jim Cramer guest interview. So make a note of these things. These are things that worked. So you want to do more of what worked. And obviously, you want to do less of things that didn't work. We like to use visual management. I'm going to explain what that is in a second with an example. But, if your goals aren't visual, if your performance isn't visual, you're going to forget it. Come January, February, March, your, these things that you worked on, in terms of goal setting, you're just going to forget them and they're going to be an afterthought. So by employing visual management, we allow our goals to be visible. And again, in an example of stock picking, what are those names that you're watching? We talked about alerts the other day in a previous video, but what are those names you're watching and what are those price points that you want to get at? So that's something that you could, have on your visual management board. Think of it as a whiteboard in your office or any type of, it can even be on a piece of 8.5 by 11, something that's visible for you in your workplace. So keep this strategy in front of you at all times so that it's top of mind and that you're looking at it. And more importantly, if you're deviating from the performance of that goal, you need to take countermeasures. You need to take corrective action to get you back to a level of a direction or a path that's going to get you to those goals. So let's look at an example. Um, you all know that, we use trading to generate income. We aren't only long-term hold and never look at investors. Because of tax implications for stock gains, stock the taxes on stock gains are attractive. We want to generate income from them. So income that can be potentially taxed at a lower rate than, say, employment income. That's why it's fun, investing in stocks, because of that's one of the reasons. So here, if we look at, and just this is made up, but this is very similar to the mindset we used in 2022. We have an objective. We want to make an additional income of 50,000 in 2022. Probably a bit challenging in this market for some. Others might say, "Are you kidding me?" The volatility this year was absolutely amazing. You could buy low and sell high and rinse and repeat so many times. If that's your cup of tea and that's the strategy you were employing, great. Now, so we have the objective identified here, and then you want to also track, how much gains you made thus far in the year. So if you're at 38,000 by end of November, you're below your objectives, and don't make foolish investments to try to close that gap. But December, you got to think about how to close that gap and what you need to do. So not only do we have this visually presented, but we have it graphically presented as well. And then you update this regularly every time take a loss or take a gain. You want to update this number. So Excel spreadsheets, obviously something on computer works well, but again, it has to be visual. If you're going to print this, that would be great. The other component on our visual management is, again, those names that we're watching this week. Qualcomm, Apple, Google, Meta. Some of these names have shown, most of these names have shown, the exception of Apple, some weakness in Q4. So these were names we're watching, and then you may want to have the price targets as well. Other events this week. So if there's any earnings, obviously you want to be able to have that on your visual management, but more importantly, and this was November, right? What sort of market moving events were scheduled? So we had US elections on the second week of November, the CPI report, right? Inflation is a key driver of the market now. So November CPI report, the December CPI event report. These are things whose dates should be visually available to you so you don't forget. So you're prepared for the week, and you're prepared for any market action and market moves that you need to make. So this was a very, very quick, crash course on continuous improvement and visual management. We actually have um, a stock buying planner that we've developed and that we're going to start selling to customers that are interested, that allows you to have this visibility that we're talking about in terms of your targets, in terms of the names you're watching, in terms of the research ideas and the inputs that one uses or needs to use to generate new ideas, one of which, again, we presented in a video a few weeks past, in terms of the best performers every month, the worst performers every month. You want that also to be an input into your strat plan, your strategy plan. As I also mentioned, Barron's articles, any articles that you read, that can be whose theses you can incorporate into your strategy. Hope this was helpful. Again, 2023 goal setting, you should commence that around this time, so that you can hit the ground running in January as the new year approaches. And thank you for listening. And here's wishing everyone financial success. Thank you.